Hey, welcome to the Dojo Exchange. I'm James Moore, and today I have a special guest. Grandmaster, do you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Good morning, viewers of the Dojo Exchange. I'm Taekwondo Master Edward Brian Scott of Australia, 7th Dan Black Belt in the ITF system of Taekwondo.
Awesome. So how many years altogether have you been in martial arts?
53 years, James.
3 years. That is a long time.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I want to say it's an honor talking to you. I've already talked to you about it, but I'm in Taekwondo myself. I've been not that many years, but maybe someday. So what got you into martial arts?
I thoroughly enjoy not only practicing Taekwondo, but also these days it's for now not only for the philosophical side of Taekwondo, but also it's a way of I look at perfecting my techniques, kicks, strikes, punches. To me, it's a way of exploring my inner self and trying to get the absolute best out of myself through expressing it through the Taekwondo techniques.
So
Yeah, that's fine.
how big's your school?
Well, it used to be quite large. That was back in the 80s. Roughly, I had about 150 students, and that has decreased over time, especially with the COVID.
Yeah.
When that hit, my students, obviously myself, we had to stay away from the dojo because of the disease or the virus that was through the COVID. And then after the COVID went, a lot of students did not come back. And now I'm doing a lot of marketing and continuously market through papers, radio, in order to reach out to the Ipswich community where I teach the Taekwondo in order to gain potential students. It's harder these days because of unfortunately the mobile phone and anything digital's usually king now. So and because with COVID now, parents are unfortunately in a habit of they've got out of the habit of bringing students back. So I think it's always to please children rather than get children to understand about resilience, confidence, because that's usually the main reason why students will come and want to learn martial arts. You gain through your Taekwondo sessions all those things like confidence, respect, coordination, focus for like school subjects and things like that.
Compared to now, how was martial arts way back then when you started?
It was very hard. It was when I first joined my ITF Taekwondo club in Ipswich, we had an instructor, Jeff Holloway, and I really took to him because he displayed so much confidence, and the lessons were hard. In that way, you had to put a lot of effort into it, and you didn't continue on with your Taekwondo if you weren't prepared to extend yourself mentally and physically. So that you did get discipline straight away and respect, but came naturally with me was confidence, because you had to put 110% into your Taekwondo lesson. And I don't think he expected any less. But yeah, they were very hard days. Even the sparring was hard. You did get hit, but you had to use your defense. Your defensing tools, your blocks and so on. And if you weren't prepared to move, you would get hit. And people back then, they just expected to be hit. I understand it was consented assault when you were sparring, but unfortunately, that's just the way it was.
Yeah. So what drew you into Taekwondo?
I was bullied at school, James. I was unfortunately I was a target for bullies. I was very quiet person. I was very a loner. You might as well say a loner. I eventually found friends, you know, your school peers, but I was always unfortunately a target for the bully, and I got pretty well, you might as well say, bashed up or assaulted at school, and that was done on a daily basis. I would do my best to when I saw the bullies at a distance, I would go the other way. I'd hide until class was called in. But even then, when the class was finished, the bullies would always want to seek me out, and that really took a lot of my confidence away. And I always would go and speak to my father. He was a Vietnam, SAS veteran here in Australia. And he always gave me the advice of just fronting up to the bully and hit him. And I just said, no, I haven't got the confidence for that. I was scared because there was always roughly around seven to nine people all at once. It was I don't know. I didn't understand their perspective on the whole thing, but I was really scared. And then the old man said to me, "Rightio, I think I better get you into martial arts." And he said, "I know a club in Ipswich, and I'll take you there and see what you think." So me and my brother, the oldest brother, went along and had a look, and I was instantly captivated by the by the discipline and the respect and the confidence that all the students had. They were just
Yeah.
showing so much strength of character, and that just drew me in straight away. And I started, learning because we joined the club, and it was hard sessions, but you learnt patience, discipline, and respect. That's what the instructor expected, and we gave it to him. But as I said, my father was a SAS veteran, and we were brought up that way anyway. So to me, it just come like second nature to respect someone else. But as I said, the lessons were hard, but the instructor would always expect you, when he gave us an instruction to do, say, like a forearm rising block. He said, "I want you to keep doing that and do it, say, 10 times each side. When you finish, and I haven't come back to you, just keep doing it each side over and over and over." And he didn't come back for, say, 20 to 30 minutes. When he did come back, he had a look, and he just readjusted your arm into the proper position. He said, "Keep going." And you never questioned him. You just kept doing it. And you would sweat no matter if it was winter or summer. You just stuck with what he told you to do. You did it. And that's where I believe I got my confidence from, because I started believing not only in myself, but also in the technique.
So who were your biggest influences in martial arts?
Of course, Bruce Lee. I loved Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
But that was always reinforced by my parents. My parents said, well, instead of sitting down watching cartoons, they would say, "I think you better get outside. It's a beautiful sunny day. Get out there and practice, especially because you've got to go to school." And then when they say go back to school, instantly these bullies come back into my mind. I thought, nah, got to get out there and practice. And they'd say, "Bruce Lee always practices." And yes, I did. I just loved his actions in his movies. The way he moved so fast, and how much confidence and dedication he had. And when you when you saw Bruce Lee doing these movements in the movies, you could see that no one would dare touch Bruce Lee at all. And that's what I wanted.
Yeah. Can't go wrong with Bruce Lee, man. I love Bruce Lee too.
That's exactly right. Yeah. He was just phenomenal. He was really good.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, I loved everything about Bruce Lee.
So did you ever think you would get where you're at today? And
No, I didn't. But I knew it would come eventually. unfortunately, when I was practicing my Taekwondo, because I was so young, I think I was about, 7 or 8 years old, I practiced, obviously, that much because the motivation behind the bullying at school, and I was still at school when I was, practicing my Taekwondo. After 3 years, I only got junior black belt because I was too young to hold it as far as they were concerned. The instructor was concerned and the master was concerned. I was too young to hold a senior rank, even though I was sparring senior men. I had to just keep continuing. Eventually, I got to, I think I was about 18 years old, and I said to my dad, I'm not going to go any further in rank. I want to join another club. And at that time, Grandmaster Yun Kyu Yun, he was a veteran Korean Army soldier and instructor in the Army in Korea as well. But he come over to Australia and he settled in Brisbane at the time, and I went to his club, and I loved the way he moved. He was so fast and also so confident in his movement. So me and my brother, we stayed with his club then, and it was after, I think, about a year and a half, he said, right, you can go for your first Dan senior black belt. So then I done my whole black belt grading test all over again.
So, outside the dojang, how has martial arts affected your life? Influenced your life?
Yeah, I believe that the Taekwondo, through confidence, it's learnt me to speak up for myself. Naturally, I have respect for people, and especially if they have respect for me, because it works both ways. But it's given me a lot of confidence in life. I'm a Army veteran myself, and I find now that, because I have a fair bit of anxiety, but that's always, the Taekwondo discipline has always helped me through. And as well, these days I'm also a solicitor by profession. And with the Taekwondo, it's helped me to discipline myself through my studies. And to me, that's a lot of credit to martial arts. Because I believe without the martial arts foundation, I don't believe where I would be where I am today.
I agree with that 100%. Just the tenets alone of Taekwondo, that's like my code of honor. That's what I live by. And my whole life,
Wow.
Yeah. I courtesy, integrity, perseverance, self-control, dominant spirit. I try to make that my character.
Yes. Yeah, you can't go wrong when you understand the meaning behind each of those tenets. Then even the late, great General Che Hong Hee said the same thing.
Yeah. And another thing, how you were just touching on it, that's another thing I live by too. Like, to me, respect's a universal language. Like, no matter what walk of life we come from, we can speak respect and hear and understand respect. And that hits the nail on the head.
Totally agree, James. My club has dropped in numbers. I have roughly 25 students at the moment, and the majority of those students that do come in to learn to practice Taekwondo, most of them are being bullied. I mean, that's a shame that bullying is still in existence today in schools when there's policies saying that there is no bullying. But unfortunately, we know different. There's always going to be a difference of opinion, or someone likes someone and someone doesn't like anyone else, so they exclude them from a group or whatever. That way, when you're teaching students and you let students know, even though you're an instructor, that one time in your life you used to being bullied, there's always that connection between the master or the instructor and the student. They get that connection straight away as soon as you say, well, I have been bullied in my life, and that's why I continue still to do Taekwondo as an instructor and to teach students. And the students, once they learn that it takes discipline, you've got to have discipline in order to progress, because you're going to have times where you fail in your Taekwondo in the classroom, but that's going to help teach you resilience to keep practicing, even if like you fail through like sparring or whatever, or you can't break that board, because there's something you've got to learn in order to overcome that challenge. And that may be you got to practice more, you got to turn your hips more, you got to pivot on your feet more in order to make that technique work for you. It's got to become part of you, an extension of yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what values do you try to pass on to your students?
I like to pass on, the tenets, which is, respect, courtesy, integrity. They're always the big ones from martial arts, because you will be a decent person if you practice them and live by them. That makes you so proud to be who you are, and passing that on, that's a big deal. And to pass that on to a student and see the student, especially when they radiate not only the confidence in themselves, but also that respect. It makes you feel 10 feet tall.
Yeah, absolutely. So all this time, you've been an instructor for a long time now. What's some of the biggest challenges that you faced as an instructor?
Yeah, when the hardest thing I believe, still trying to keep students after they get their first damn black belt. I have had students that got to at least third, but even though that's no reflection on me, because usually students join for a reason. Once they've fulfilled that reason, they're gone.
Yeah.
But I've always
Yeah.
tried to stop or slow down when when the numbers reduce. I try and slow it down to at least keep inspiring the students. So I try my best myself. That's why I believe, it's a long life journey for me, and it always will be. But I'd like to radiate that perfection in technique when I kick or punch, or have a lesson that they must, that they've got to learn that particular night, and get the message across that the martial arts will eventually be a way of life. And in saying that, the I'd like the student to learn that you will always be trying to perfect your skill. You'll always try and tap into that bettering your technique, so it comes away second nature to you, rather than, we realize that you got to learn the technique over and over and over and over. But if you want to be very, very skillful, like Bruce Lee, Chuck Norris, and Jackie Chan, and all those people, they were always perfecting their skill, always. And that's what I'd like
Yeah.
to pass on to students. Pardon me.
So what's some advice you can give other instructors out there?
To instructors, my advice would always be, always try and teach the tenets of Taekwondo. Because if you could always get across to your students, the tenets in Taekwondo are there for a reason. It's more than just martial arts. Taekwondo is a way of life, or whenever you're practicing Kung Fu or karate or whatever it is, it's a way of life. Because you don't get to my, I wouldn't say level, but my journey of 53 years has taught me that it becomes a way of life. And always be happy when you're teaching students a technique and you see that technique being exchanged from a beginner into intermediate, then advanced. It's such a good feeling. But never give
Yeah.
up being an instructor, even though you might have a bad day at it. But you can have a bad day at anything. But always trust in your own ability.
Absolutely. Absolutely. With the issue that we have, and I know a lot of schools have it, green belt syndrome. Like once students get halfway through, they quit. You know what I mean? How do you
That's
guys deal with
right.
that?
you should never take it personally though, as an instructor, even if they, once a student, as I said, once the student comes to a dojo because there's a reason. They want to fulfill some reason for being there. As I said, with me, it was bullying. With other students, everyone's got different reasons. But once you fulfilled that reason in that student, you should feel good. You should always be feeling pleased with yourself that you have actually fulfilled something in their life at that present stage, and then they move on. They'll always move on. You'll always get students like that, but at least you're there as like a safety blanket. You're there to teach a particular thing in life. Pardon me, James.
Oh, you're fine.
But you are fulfilling something.
So, where do you see martial arts heading in the future?
It's only through some of these progressive martial art dojos, a lot of them are into competition, and that competition is run by digital. It's no longer just marking with a pencil on a piece of paper anymore, but
Yeah.
now it's coming more forward where you're getting instructors teaching online. So that's the progress that we're moving forward to, like Zoom. A lot of instructors are going onto that, especially here in Australia, because people move in, not move, but people work in shifts, different shifts these days, and they don't want to miss out on a lesson to keep fit. And rather going to the dojo, their dojo's now online, like we are. We're exchanging information online. That's where martial arts is headed for the future. Instead of the dojo physical, it's now online. And as I said, a lot of the master instructors that I know, they teach online at different hours. And
Yeah.
it's a pretty easy session to do it online. They just put on their Taekwondo uniform and practice their movements, and the instructor tells them what to do and encourages them, and it's all over in 20 minutes. Where I won't be going into those sort of things. I'm very traditional. I like my dojang, even though I could probably do the Zoom meeting through the dojang. I like the one-on-one person or the group,
Yeah.
and I'm the instructor, and I teach that way. So obviously old school system, but that's definitely the way I like to deliver my message.
Yeah, I know COVID turned a lot of us online, man. We did that as well with our
Yeah, that's
students, but
right.
once everything was lifted, we were back in physical, but like my thing is it's not a substitute. Like if they're still training physically and then they're doing the online lessons, I can understand that. But if you have no training at all, I could see where it could be an issue. You know what I mean? Like if you and I did a lesson, we have the basic
Yes.
foundation, we would be able to understand, but you just have somebody off the street, I don't think they would be able to understand.
No, that's a challenge within itself.
Yeah.
But see, even the student, if they're doing it on Zoom, it'd have to be pre-organized where they do bag work, or they couldn't do pad work, is what we also do. Because
Yeah.
in my sessions, we have 20 minutes of bag drills where they kick and punch, or combinations of both, and they've got to learn the understanding of the bag being like a replica of a person. The bag's flexible, the person's flexible, and you're going to find out when you hit, the bag's going to move, and then you've got to counter punch with a hand strike, or you've got to use your footwork to increase your not only your balance but your mobility of learning coordination between the floor and actually hitting the bag. But those things, I believe, you always got to be there to actually assist the student or support the student in understanding the mechanics of it all.
Yeah, I feel the same way. There's nothing that's going to substitute that instant feedback.
That's right. Exactly. That's yeah, what it's all about. especially when it's one-on-one or 1 on 20 students or whatever the number is. But they're always learning, especially when they see the instructor, because I like demonstrating everything. I don't leave it up to another black belt to demonstrate something. I like to do it personally. So that way they see that even though I'm older than most of them, I've still got the tangibles that they've got to learn from. So once they see me do it, they say, oh, wow, geez, that's a pretty good kick. They say, geez, he's not a young fella, but he's still flexible. He can still pack a punch or pack a kick or whatever. But that's something that I want them to do and be able to do.
So do you have a favorite martial arts quote by chance?
No, but I do like the Bruce Lee saying that to learn you got to be in the water to learn. I can't quite remember word for word, but I do like that saying by Bruce Lee. I've got
That's mine too.
an extensive martial art library.
Yeah, be like water, and if you got to have a half full cup. You can't learn if your cup's already full.
Well, yes, yeah, that's another one I like. I definitely like that because that's so true. But I was going to let you know that through my journey in Taekwondo and to get a lot of confidence, I did a lot of Taekwondo competition back in the 70s. And then I eventually went through, because over here in Australia, then the kickboxing from America came in over here. Then I did that. And then I went on to do Muay Thai and end up being a Commonwealth champion in the lightweight division. That gave me a massive amount of confidence.
I'm sure. That's awesome. That's awesome.
I hope that they always remember me by my ability. That I was I was a hands-on sort of fellow where I would always demonstrate something. I never left it to someone else to demonstrate for me. I would demonstrate if it was getting across how a crescent kick should be delivered with not only the hips but the whole body. Pardon me. The kick should be delivered with speed. There should be the mechanic side of it where the knee's got to come up, kick outward, but also retract it so your adversary won't be able to grab it. So you'll be able to hit. And when you hit through, you don't just hit at the target. Those sort of things where I always demonstrated something that, I was a man of action rather than just talking.
That's awesome. So looking back on your journey, what has martial arts given you that you never expected?
Yeah, I didn't think I'd ever get the confidence I have now. And that's what I will always be thankful for Taekwondo, that it gave me confidence. I never thought I would get it because I was really beaten at school. It wasn't one of my favourite times as a child at school. I had to face daily torment, but the Taekwondo, it never let me down. If I put effort into it, it never, ever let me down, and I'll always be thankful for Taekwondo like that.
That's awesome. So where's your dojo at again? Dojang, where's it at?
Ipswich. It's in Queensland, the state of Queensland in Australia, but the suburb's called Ipswich.
Okay. Now, do you have any seminars or events coming up?
In spring, we have a seminar coming up. It's an invitational seminar, and it's based on patterns, the application, the understanding, the mechanics side of it. Goes through, your stance, your foot placement. It will be, it's obviously a whole hour of it, but students are going to learn the full application of every technique, block, body position, all those the application of the movement. So I'm looking forward to that. And then we have a local, it's October, late October. We have an invitational as well as local or regional Taekwondo tournament, but it's open to all styles as well.
That's awesome.
So they're the two big things we're looking forward to.
It sounds fun, man. I wish it wasn't so far away.
You're right, James. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely. So I have one more question. If you could leave one lesson to the next generation of martial artists, what would it be?
Respect for one another. That's a big thing in today's world. Respect. Always respect each other. There's plenty of room in this world for everybody.
Well, Grandmaster, it's been an honor talking to you. We'll have to do this again when I'm back in the dojang, so that way I can show you what mine looks like.
Yes, that
It's
would
been
be
an honor.
excellent.
Absolutely.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I wish you all the best, James, and your listeners.